Can I zoom up to her face when she says, "Oh shit"? I hope she doesn't.
Ever since that fiasco I made about the eggs that time, yeah, I have to be careful. Okay, so now I'm starting the thing. So here is a synthetic brush with a good point, and I am getting it thoroughly wet with very soapy water. Okay. I'm going to squeeze it out. Okay, now it's primed and ready for masking. And by the way, let's do it this way. You don't want to leave your bottle of mask open very long because it really does degrade pretty fast. So I suggest doing something like this and then getting the lid back on. Make sure you don't have any crumbles on this because crumbles will make air gaps, and then you'll have either ruined mask eventually, or it'll leak everywhere.
That's what mine looks like.
Or you won't be able to get the lid off.
Yeah, you won't.
So, all right. So here we go again. Masking. Here's where my snow is going to be. Now, with this particular piece, you don't have to be too picky, but I only want to mask for about 20 seconds. Go back in here and wash the brush off. Because otherwise the mask will start setting up. It will be a little easier to pull the mask up if it's fairly thick, but as long as there is masking down, it doesn't have to be thick. It's going to block watercolor. So like I said, I had to draw the snow in because I did not put it on the original because I wasn't planning on snow until I thought about it. Okay, I'll make this fast. So that's how you get your masking down. Mm-hmm. You are also going to do some other masking in a few minutes. If you get some masking down, I'll do this part. If you get some masking down and you put it down really thick, like that, and it's taking forever to dry, once the masking has started drying, you can give that a little blot and pull up some of the excess so it'll finish drying. Okay, so I have extra masking here and bottle lids for anybody that needs it. And then these we're like reusing. Blue-gray over here though. And it may be a little bit strong. Places like that. My plan is to use a little bit of Mr. Magic, like I did right there, and soften a few spots later. Because you can see when you use masking, you get really strong effects because you get those really crisp, strong edges.
Now, where have you masked on this one?
Oh, well, I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay.
There's actually, I'm not going to show you yet. There's masking going on everywhere.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to use, now that I called you over here, and I don't even have the right stuff out.
Your favorite brush.
Okay.
I like that.
So what I'm going to do
That looks like
is,
it's poured.
for my goldish looking color here, and some of it's really beige and a more, I've got some raw sienna, and I'll pull out raw sienna and put it in one area here. And then I'll pick up some Quin Gold.
Saw that coming.
I don't know how you guessed. And I'm going to put some of that over here, and then they're going to kind of meet in the middle like that. I think I need a little bit more of this. Okay. So the problem is, okay, we've got quite a bit of this. And then we've got areas that aren't masked, and You don't have to replicate this exactly. In fact, please don't try to replicate it exactly. But one of the things I want to do, let's see, get just a weak stroke of this in here. And, you know, the one thing you don't want to do is that. Okay, you want to break it up and just kind of play around there. And then maybe that's just a warm-up for later, because, in fact, I wanted a blue-gray there because I thought it was prettier there. Oh, well. Part of what you're going to do, you're going to add water and mostly cover a lot of these areas with the... Oh, that's his tail. Well, it won't hurt. Okay.
Oops.
With the kind of gold tone. And how much of what you put in here, I don't know. I didn't draw a border on this one. I should have. So over in here, we've got a few areas that have a little bit of gold going on. Well, I don't want these hard-edged things back there, and and I need to get this all the way up to the bird. If it gets on the bird, it won't hurt because the bird's going to get a strong red on it. It'll cover it. Just add some water around and get soft edges. You could build a little more texture just by spattering if you wanted to. You know, spatter water. Oh, see that? That's how that breaks that up. I love stuff like that. So I might go ahead and make a bit of a gray. I'm using indigo and burnt umber. A little more indigo than burnt umber because I want the gray to be a blue gray. You may have some other paint that will actually do this.
And you're using indigo and what?
Burnt umber. So I'm just getting a little, let's call it pre-color, before we do a bunch more masking. Just really.
But you want to cover everything because what you want white's already masked.
Yes, what I want white is already masked, and I'll just, you know, I can mess with it a little more or not. I don't really have to. Maybe I'll put some browns in here just because I'll get some soft edges because it's already wet. You don't want too much, though. You want to keep mostly lights because we are going to spatter a lot of mask and paint some more stuff on here. So maybe something about like that, and then stop.
Not a
Then it took a
$37
week
battery.
for an oil change. You know what those are today? Oh, they're $100.
I know, and I only have
So you
one
have a little
left.
cheat
on
sheet
the
for every one of these
warranty.
weekends? And you
I just
On
make
my little
copies,
bug.
and that's all my numbers
Now
around
I'm
here.
gonna have to
I like
start
to be
paying
organized.
for
Which
I'm
red
an
are you
organized
using?
You
person.
win. You win.
And I only have 15,000
Okay.
miles on it.
Okay,
Only 20
Are we ready?
for the oil change.
Some of us are.
I mean, total.
By the way,
okay, go ahead and
like your
start.
bracelet.
You have to put
Oh,
them in
thank you.
timeout.
Need a hammer.
Okay.
We're now at
So what I've got
That'll
here, is what we used on the flower last week. It is just Quin Rose with Quin Gold. And basically, I'm painting in the bird. And I'm pretty much just painting him in with this.
Are you using thick? It looks like.
I'm using pretty strong paint, yeah. Okay. So he's going to get a little bit of shading, not a lot. And I'm going to paint, I'm going to overlap where the black goes. I guess I'll leave the red out of his eye, but
What about the highlight on his top of his beak?
I even thought we could mask that, but I think we'll just
Lift it?
we'll just paint it carefully. Okay, so I'm not painting the beak yet. So I'm getting the color on the bird, and the only special area is that I have a great love of these stripes, and they're right here.
The feathers.
These wing feathers, you can see the black and red stripes. I want those to show up, so in order to, and there's a little bit in the tail. So in order to make that show up, I may keep the red a little bit lighter in that area so that it'll stand out against the black better. So that's basically it, is that you're, because you're going to shade, we'll shade the bird afterwards, just the way we shaded the flower. So that's kind of a small brush. You see how he looks all scruffy? So right when I get into this area, I'm going to add a little bit more water and make that a little lighter. So basically that's it. You're going to go paint the bird. Now when you get to the beak, Quinn Gold. This gold's got a little red in it. Let's use some just plain Quinn Gold. I might have a little red left on my brush. But it does have a red tint even in the beak. So I might do that much. And then I might pick up just a touch of red while it's wet. And add a little bit of red into the lower half of the beak. And then at the top half, see I'm squeezing the brush out, so I just got a little water on the tip. I don't have enough water on the tip. Let's try this. Okay. So I'll add a little water there, and hopefully I'll have a lighter tip on the beak. I may have to work on that some after it's dry. But that's what you're doing. Okay, we've got a layer of color down. Now we're gonna, you know, and you could even do a little bit of that. And if you accidentally get it over the tail, it won't hurt.
And it won't pull up the paint?
If you have it on real thick, sometimes it will pull up a little bit.
Okay.
So you don't want to do all of these. You just want to do a few of them. Those are going to be our lightest ones. Kind of like having a little mass of them down here too. Different, you know, you're going to get different sizes out of this, okay? And then you can also, you could use your brush for this, but you can get little bitty, kind of scrappy looking lines this way that look a little more natural. The other thing, I don't have it out, so I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, never mind. So let's put a little something, you know, up here. It's just kind of, oh, well, look, I ran through my other things and it pulled out and made a, that's all perfectly fine.
You're okay.
Madam Chair?
Thanks. No, I'm good.
Okay, so a little bit of that stuff, and then you stop. You stop, and that's when we have to do something else, because we don't want to sit around while we wait on that to dry. I'll just use this brush. So I thought we could paint on the limb. Okay. So I have color here, and this is my old set, and I'll be darned. Think that's, okay, there we go. I just accidentally picked it up. However, it does have cad red in there,
What
which,
color is
this is burnt umber.
that? Okay.
So a little bit of burnt umber, and that's just too brown. This limb is kind of gray. You know, tree trunks aren't usually brown. They're kind of dingy brown, or let's just put a little ultramarine in there. Oops, and take it down a notch. See, so that's a little bit more like that raw umber instead of burnt umber, which I don't get raw umber because I just make it. So this is actually kind of a two-stage looking thing there. Let's see, what do we want to do? Well, let's just fill this in and then make it so we're doing the lighter value. Oh, there. What is that? That must be part of his leg there. Or maybe it's snow. Or, yeah. Oh, maybe I'll just make it foot color. So, you know, a little bit of that. It makes it kind of uneven. And let's see, got wider down here. Got it covered up with other stuff. Okay. So there's that. So I'm going to do that. I say you don't actually need to stand here and watch me do the whole thing. Well, you just as well, because there's so little left. And, oh, you know what? I may have run that through the masking. There, I had a little bit of mask there. I better wash that off. So you may not even need soapy water today. I apologize now that... Hi. So then what I'm going to do is, this is starting to dry.
Said he was gonna be gone.
This is starting to dry. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to gently, very gently, kind of give it a little bit of a blot. And that gets that thick part up so that it'll dry faster. And if there's any there at all, why, it's masked. And if you should be so clever as to actually get a circle out of this because of the center coming up, then you're better than me, because I've been trying to make that happen for years. So then you're just going to do it like, yeah, good, yeah, film that. Be sure you film that part. You're gonna wave it around a few minutes, and then we're going to come back and watch me, you know, do magical, wonderful stuff. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, okay to that too.
Go.
Whatever. I have some Queen Burnt Scarlet and some, Queen Gold. And you know what? We're going to need some raw sienna somewhere. I don't even know exactly where I'm going to use them yet till I start doing it. Okay, and I've got a little bit of ultramarine there too. So the thing is, we have got, oh looky, we've got an area here that's kind of golden red. And we've got an area back here that, okay, you see those dark bluish tones? Mm-hmm. Don't put those in yet. Okay, we are going to put in some just brownish gold everywhere. Okay, because this is the second layer. There's got to be a third, maybe a fourth, but you just use masking twice.
Where's the ultramarine? You said you had ultramarine.
Oh, I've got a little ultramarine right there.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when I'm going to use it.
Okay.
Okay, and so I've also got the raw sienna. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's just put a little color in up here. Maybe I'll paint around that branch. I don't know. Should I stay inside my border? I don't know about that either. So I'm dropping in some pretty wet color, okay? It's sort of a medium concentration. This has got a lot of the raw sienna in it, so it's not going to be really strong. And, oh, I don't know, down here there's more brown. Let's put a little bit of burnt umber down here. And the thing is that this is meant to be a suggestion, not a you've got to do these colors in these places. And I'm not even going to claim that these are the best colors in these places. Goodness. Okay, so I'm kind of painting around the bird and the branch, and everything else I'm just painting over and ignoring. I want to keep these edges wet because Gonna pull in some more color over here. Maybe I won't make this quite as strong over here. Oh, I said not to use any blue yet. No, I'm thinking about it. I'll use some brown. So, I'm getting something like that in. Let's make that just a little, maybe a little bit darker. Okay. Oh, you see those little dots I just put in, and they're kind of blending? That's really nice. You might want some more of that. Let's just put a little more over here. I'll just take my burnt umber and add a few marks in here while it's wet enough to move. Okay? If it's not moving, then you need to add water to it or something. Get it to move a little bit. But it just gives it that busy look of stuff back there. I should have put some masking right there. See those areas? But I didn't. Well, I will next time. That's what I'll do. I'll do it next time. Okay, so now a little bit of burnt umber down here. Or that's what I'm going to do. I'm just plopping that in down like that, okay? And then I'm going to pick up my blue. We'll just let it mix here on the, that's not ultramarine. Okay, this is my old palette, and I would have sworn that was ultramarine. Oh, wait a minute, I picked it up here. Oh, this Joe's blue. Oh, good gosh. I didn't pick up ultramarine at all. Joe's blue, that's phthalo blue. Oh, you don't want phthalo blue in there. Okay, here's a little bit of something.
So we don't know what it is.
It looks like ultramarine. It could be cobalt. This palette had cobalt in it, but I haven't used cobalt in years. Okay, so we've got stuff here. And I want to get pretty much a layer of dark over all of these places. I guess I've got something there. Oh, I wonder. I keep wanting to put a little bit more in here. Over here. Oh, wait a minute. That's the bad color. That's the bad color.
Yeah. Bad color.
Man, such a wreck. Let's add a little bit more burnt umber in here while we're at it. Is this how you feel when you're losing your mind and you can't
I
tell?
haven't lost mine yet.
Well,
After you do, you won't remember what it felt like. So.
okay. So, just a little, okay, I'm just adding a little bit there because whatever you put in here is really going to be lighter than you, than what you thought it was going to be. You know how that goes, especially when you come in and you put those stronger darks in next. You don't want it to stand out too much. You want it to kind of fade in, okay? So just put in some color. Look at this and see kind of, where you think colors should go. But but remember, don't go to super dark. That's the third time out. And this really kind of gray area, that really should go in last. So it's just building little bits of this on. And I would come in and I would clean up. Some of you may already have a better job of this than I do, but I would come in and I would get this area around the bird, or around where his face is. I would get that kind of dark and finished. Doesn't have to be dark, but it needs to be kind of finished before we put that last wash in, and then you can kind of stay away from that, stay away from the bird's face. There's a tiny highlight there, and it does absolutely nothing for this bird. So then your branch, you just want to go in with more color on the bottom of your branch.
Do we want to put more masking on?
Yeah, you're gonna put more masking. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Should have turned it off. Okay. Right here. One of the Hobby Lobby craft brushes, and I used to have soapy water.
Has anybody been in Hobby Lobby lately?
Mm-hmm.
I bought some
How's it
paper
doing?
today.
Good.
Looks about the same.
I guess
Well,
during the shutdown time, it was probably doing really good because people staying home and
bored, yeah.
knitting.
Well, at least it's soap. You got your shower.
I got, yeah.
I went in during the lockdown and it was pretty empty, but
Was it?
but they were open and you could get what you wanted.
Okay.
So just more of the same on that.
More of the same stuff.
What about those sticks behind it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put some of those in. So, this does for it what baby's breath does for a, when this comes up, you're gonna have to paint more little squiggly things in there, but that's not a big deal right now. I think this one doesn't need as much, but you could put a couple. Yours may need more or less. They're all different. Okay, so now we're going to use this. By the way, before you put your masking on, be sure that paper is totally, totally dry. If that paper's moist when you put this on, it's not going to work at all. Okay, so I'm going to have to turn this. So I'm going to turn this way too.
He looks so pretty, Ann.
What?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so, well, that made my day. So it's wider right here behind the bird because it tapers coming out. So I'm coming up to the edge of the bird. That's important. Wash it out every 20 seconds or so. Squeeze it back out before you put it in the masking. That's a big deal too. So, this thing could come on up now. Could have come up all along. Poor thing. So, what do we need over here? Maybe we'll just put in another thing or two, which will actually be in the background. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll find out though, won't we? We'll know all about it when it comes up. So, there. You do that when it's really dry, and then we'll put on one last layer, and then we can pull up the masking and see the glorious effect.
So it says here,